During the War of the Ring, the conflict was focused on the assaults on the lands of Gondor and Rohan, attacked by Mordor and Isengard respectively, but in the north of Middle-earth, the war did not take long to reach the kingdoms of Erebor and Dale, which were approached by Sauron, who requested that they recognize him as their lord. The dwarves of the Lonely Mountain and the men of Dale declined the offering of alliance that Sauron's emissaries brought to them, seeking knowledge of the Shire. While his southern armies menaced Gondor, Sauron sent a large contingent of Easterling allies to assault Dale, to prevent his enemies from joining forces, and they crossed the river Carnan on their way, to attack the dwarf realm of the Lonely Mountain and the Mannish kingdom of Dale, while Gondor's capital, Minas Tirith, was besieged far away. The combined forces of the men of Dale under King Brand, and dwarves of the Lonely Mountain, and of the Iron Hills, under King Dane Ironfoot, met the Easterlings in battle on March 14, 3019. Though Sauron's forces were probably more numerous, it is likely that the dwarves and men of Dale were better equipped, thanks to the Lonely Mountain's armories. Few details are known about the battle itself, but we can assume that, as is known, the dwarves were well armed and protected thanks to their skill as blacksmiths, and they surely formed the vanguard of the army, probably with phalanxes in the front line followed by heavy infantry, armed with axes and swords and protected by shields. Dale's men surely complemented the army with their well-known archers, and infantry of lesser quality but equally committed to the defense of his kingdom. Most likely, the Easterlings outnumbered the dwarves and men of Dale considerably, and being a people accustomed to war, they were warriors of considerable skill, and were not poorly armed either, generally covered in armor and golden helmets that make them look intimidating, and use a wide variety of weapons such as spears, swords, axes and shields. They are known for their use of cavalry as well as war chariots, who could have taken part in the battle, although to a lesser extent. The confrontation occurred mainly just outside the main entrance of Erebor, where a funnel was formed, and the Easterlings could not take advantage of their numerical superiority, to be able to surround and attack the flanks of the dwarves and Dale's men, nor could they take advantage of their cavalry and chariot, if they actually were part of their forces. Therefore, the two armies fought without quarter, hand to hand, where both surely suffered considerable casualties, but greater ones for the Easterlings for assaulting a position prepared for offering a strong resistance by the defenders. Nonetheless, after 3 days of heavy fighting, the Easterlings forced them to retreat to the Lonely Mountain, where they were besieged. Eventually, during some heavy close-quarters fighting, on March 17, Brand fell, and Dane was killed, as he stood defending the body of his ally. Despite winning the battle, the Easterlings were unable to capture the gate, instead besieging the mountain for many days. It was not until news of Sauron's defeat arrived from the south, that the tides changed in the Battle of Dale. Seeing the morale of their foes being sapped, the armies of Dale and Erebor, led by their new kings, Bard II and Thorin III, Stonehelm, managed to lift the siege on March 27, driving the Easterlings out of Dale for good. The battle was very important for the future of Middle-earth. Though it could not change the outcome of the War of the Ring, which was tied to fate of the One Ring, a victory by Sauron's forces would have had devastating consequences. Though it is impossible to tell the future, Sauron's Easterling armies would likely have been able to join up with Sauron's forces from Dol Guldur in their attacks on the Woodland Realm of Mirkwood, potentially tipping the scales in favor of Mordor. The corruption of Mirkwood might have been completed, and Dol Guldur could become an obvious staging point for a future assault on Lothlorien, though a successful invasion of Lothlorien would have been very difficult due to Galadriel and her ring. Both Rohan and Gondor would also be further threatened by a victory of Sauron in the north, and Eriador and Rivendell too would have been in danger. Gandalf himself commented on the possible consequences of losing the Battle of Dale. Think of what might have been. Dragonfire and savage swords in Eriador, night in Rivendell. There might be no queen in Gondor. We might now hope to return from the victory here, only to ruin and ash. Even without being completely defeated, the Battle of Dale still further reduced the already low numbers of dwarves, and thus helped pave way for the dominion of men in the Fourth Age. Bard II became King of Dale, and Thorin III Stonehelm became king under the mountain after the battle. They sent their ambassadors to the coronation of King Elisar. Dale and the kingdom under the mountain remained in perpetual friendship with Gondor, and they were under the crown and protection of the King of the West.